guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today starts my July wrap-up vlog, so stay tuned. So it is Wednesday, July 1st, and I have already completed a book. Now granted, most of this book was completed in June, but I finished it up today. I was listening to the audiobook of The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This was an interesting book. Well, let me start out by saying I give it 4 stars. It's about, well, Evelyn Hardcastle has been murdered, and it's up to this person. We don't learn who this person really is right away, but it's up to this person to figure out who the murderer is. But he wakes up in a different body, like a different host each day, and he only has 8 full days to put all the clues together and figure out who murdered Evelyn. And if he fails to figure it out and provide this other person with the answer by the end of the 8th day, his memory will be wiped and he'll be forced to do the whole thing over again. And when he starts out, he's not really given any information. He kind of has to figure everything out as he goes. And there are other people in other hosts that are competing to figure out the murder, and only one person can be successful. This one definitely took some focus while listening to, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I give it 4 stars. It's Thursday, July 2nd, and I have completed another book. I completed Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. This is a graphic novel, and it was amazing. First off, I give it 4 stars. Second off, I need to warn anybody that there is more language in here than there is in the show. I think, well, at least from what I've seen of the show, maybe that's edited out, I don't know, but it's not really edited out of this, except for maybe an asterisk might replace some letters, but you very much know what words are being said. But this is about, well, Morty, he has heard about Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of going around all around him, and he gets really curious about it, and he wants to learn how to play. So he goes to this hobby shop. He's looking at the books on Dungeons and Dragons, and he meets a girl there who thinks he knows what he's doing as far as Dungeons and Dragons goes, and she invites him to join her group for a campaign a few days in the future. And so then he buys all these books. He goes home, he tries to read them, can't figure it out, so he asks Rick. And just like in the show, hijinks ensue, and well, Rick goes about it the most complicated way possible to try to do it the easiest way possible, and it doesn't tend to work out very well. And then Morty's dad gets involved, and it becomes this whole family event, and they have to campaign together, and it was a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it. So it is Friday, July 3rd, and I've completed another book. Yay! So far I've completed a book every day this month. Granted, the first one was mostly done in June. The second one was a graphic novel. So, I mean, still, I'm happy with it. I've completed 3, and it's only 3 days. So the book I finished today was the audiobook of the chocolate chip cookie murder by Jon Huckeby, I believe it is. I was listening to that on RB Digital. That was my challenge for on the wheel to listen to something from RB Digital, and I have found a series that I love. I'm really looking forward to reading more of these books. I want to own the physical copy because there's recipes throughout, and I want to make all the goodies. But it's about this cookie shop owner named Hannah. She owns a shop called The Cookie Jar, and one day after coming into work, the milkman's late, and turns out he's out like beside the building or something, and he's been shot. He's dead. And Hannah, whose brother-in-law is a detective, has kind of taken it upon herself to start looking for clues and trying to help with the investigation, though she does a lot of investigating. And at some point, I think everybody in town has something to do with this murder. But at one point, she suspects the boss of the dairyman's boss. And so she goes to check on him and kind of investigate him, but while she's there, she finds his body. He's been murdered as well, and he's been known to have some shady dealings, so he has quite a few people who could want him dead. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars, and I've put it as well as the next book in that series, which I think is the Strawberry Shortcake Murder or something like that, on my Amazon wish list. I'm really looking forward to continuing it. It's a lot of fun. I also want to make all the goodies. So it is now Saturday, July 4th, and last night I actually managed to complete another book. This is actually one that Marty and I have been listening to since January. We just listened to it a tiny little bit at a time, and last night we finally finished it. That is Safiq by Catherine Fisher. This is the sequel to Incarceron. Incarceron is this very strange prison that's essentially like another dimension, and it's supposed to be, well, it was sort of an experiment, and it was supposed to be this paradise kind of place, and it's gone on for hundreds of years, I think, and the people that are in Incarceron, they've been in there their entire lives. They were born in there and they've grown up in there. But the people on the outside believe it is this paradise, and the people on the inside know it's very much not, and it kind of sucks like a lot. And there's somebody that is possibly the prince on the outside, who was exiled into Incarceron and made to forget that he came from the outside, but he's starting to have like these memories and stuff, and somehow he gets in communication with the warden's daughter on the outside, and there's all that. So that's the first one. I think I gave it 3 stars, and I can't remember what Marty rated it. And then this one, the prison essentially has become this sentient being and wants to escape as well, and just needs a body. I wasn't even really all that interested in reading the second one, so for me this one was a 2-star. I really could have cared less. Marty, however, really liked this, and he gave it 5 stars. So halfway between my 2-star and his 5-star, I'm going to put this as we give it 3.5 stars. For me, it was too weird. So 4 days, 4 books down. So it is Wednesday, July 8th, and I've completed 2 more books. Both of these I completed today. Marty and I finished The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This I give 3 stars. It was okay. I actually went into it with really low expectations from a lot of comments people left, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's about a man named Gatsby who is in love with a woman named Daisy, but he has to go away, and Daisy waits around for him for a while, and then eventually she marries this man named Tom. And years later, Gatsby comes back. He's still in love with Daisy. He wants her back. Daisy's still in love with him, and her husband is cheating on her. So she has no love left for Tom anyway. And, well, things don't go quite the way Gatsby would like. But overall, wasn't terrible. I was kind of expecting it to be terrible. But it wasn't fabulous either. I don't know. It wasn't really my thing. And then I finished Amal Unbound by Ayesha Saeed. This is about a girl named Amal who lives in Pakistan, and she's currently going to school. She wants to be a teacher, and she's got a few younger sisters. Her mother is pregnant, and then her mother has a baby girl. And her mother doesn't really handle that very well because men are valued higher in this society, and everybody seems to think of it as like a bad thing, like, oh, poor you had another girl. And her mother falls into this deep depression. Amal ends up having to stop going to school in order to help out around the house until her mother recovers. And then one day she just needs a break from it all. She goes to the market, and on her way back she's distracted and walks out in front of a car. And this car hits her, and, well, the guy that gets out of the car, he's quite rude, and she doesn't really stand for it because she is not in the mood for it and doesn't really take crap from him. And it turns out that is the wrong person to be like that too, because he is the big bad landlord of this village. He is the loan shark. He is a bully and throws a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old, and has decided that her family must now give her to him as a servant in his estate for the way she treated him. And if they refuse, then he's going to make it even worse for them. So Amal is forced to go and be a slave in this home. And, well, this is all about like hope and justice and fighting for equality and believing in doing what's right. And it was so good. I highly recommend it. I give it 4 stars. Anyway, yesterday I did finish Heir of Fire, which is book 3, I think, in the Throne of Glass series. And so far it's my favorite out of all of them. I give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. We get a bit more of Selena's history and get to meet some new characters in this, and I really liked the new characters like Rowan and well, there's a few others, but I really like them. So it's been a minute since I've completed anything. It is currently Wednesday, July 22nd. Yeah, I haven't completed a whole lot this month. I started out strong, but then I went on vacation and I didn't get a lot completed while I was there. But today I did complete Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon, and this book is like 965 pages, so, you know, it took a while. This is the second book in the Outlander series, and I can't really tell you too much about this one because it is a sequel, but in Outlander, our main character Claire, her and her husband are visiting Scotland to do some research on one of his ancestors. And, well, this is in 1945 or 1947 or something like that. Anyway, Claire stumbles upon these sort of mystical stones and finds herself transported from the 1940s to the 1740s, and she gets into all kinds of trouble there and finds herself having to marry a Scotsman named Jamie Fraser, and, well, that's a lot of fun. I love Jamie. He's awesome. But in this book, it starts out 20 years in the future of her regular time. So at some point in time, and this is kind of, Sorry, my cat is just meowing like crazy right now for no reason. Anyway, so at some point in time between book 1 and book 2, she ends up back in her time, and this is 20 years later. And then we go into the story of what led her to being back into her time. And I'm really curious with how the next book goes based on everything that happened in this one. Like, I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. So I give this 4 stars. So it is Wednesday, July 29th, and I've completed 2 more books. Yeah, not getting a whole lot done this month, but the books I have are really big. Okay, so starting with the small one. Yesterday I completed The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is about a world in which everybody's the same. There's no strong feelings, there's no fear, there's no choices, there's no colors. They see everything in like shades of gray, and they're assigned their spouse, they're assigned their children, they're assigned their jobs. And our main character, Jonas, he is assigned a very special job, one that only happens like every few decades, and he is going to be the receiver of the memories. And the receiver, he holds all of the memories from all of the world for all of time. So he knows colors, he knows snow, and he knows hills and mountains and sunshine and love and hate and hunger and war and all the different feelings of pain and joy. And he holds these memories so that the community doesn't have to experience these things or feel these things. And he advises the elders on changes that they may want to make in the future, because he can tell, okay, well, this is a good idea or a bad idea based on the past. And Jonas meets with the Giver, and he's started to receive these memories, and he doesn't like the way his community is. He thinks there is a problem with it, and at the same time he does see why some of these things are the way they are, because he's like, well, if people have choice, they might make the wrong choice, and that could cause problems, because in the past it has. But at the same time, he likes the feeling of love and seeing colors, and he sees the dark side of his community, whereas the people of his community don't even see that these things are bad. And the biggest issue that he runs into is the releasing. So when you reach a certain age, when you're old, you're released with a big ceremony. And also, if there are somebody that's made mistakes and gotten in trouble 3 times, they're released to elsewhere, like the older people. Also, babies that don't improve quick enough, don't gain weight quick enough, whatever, don't sleep through the night, that kind of stuff, they're released into the elsewhere. And also, if there are identical twins born, because they don't want to have 2 people in the same community that look the same, because it would be confusing, they will release the one with the lowest weight to elsewhere. And everybody seems to think elsewhere is just this other place, and it's not. And Jonas learns that these people are being killed, and there's a baby that's been brought into his house for some extra care before determining if, you know, he'll be placed with the family or if he will be released to elsewhere. And it's determined that he's going to be released to elsewhere, and Jonas is like, no, he can't have that. So he takes it upon himself to try to save this baby. Now, the book, this is a graphic novel, but this in the regular book, Jonas is a 12, meaning he's 12 years old. In the movie, they're 12s, but it's more like they're 12th graders, and I think that was a better interpretation, because when they become a 12, they start training for their job as an adult, and that's the point that they start becoming an adult. And there are some girls who the job is birth mother, and for the job birth mother they have to produce 3 children in 3 years, and then after that they become a laborer. And it's hard to imagine that when they're talking about 12-year-olds. So having them in the movie as like 12th graders, as like 17, 18-year-olds, that to me made more sense. But overall, I give this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. The graphic novel was great. I loved all of the artwork. It was fabulous. And how, you know, a lot of it is very gray and white, but then you have little bits of color when he's experiencing these moments. And then today I completed Anna Karenina, and I'm not a fan. I gave this 2 stars. I'm pretty sure I ranted about this a few times in a couple of vlogs as I was reading through it. I listened to the audiobook. This is like, everybody's cheating on everybody. And nobody's happy or satisfied with who they're with or any of that. It starts out, literally very beginning, Anna's brother has cheated on his wife, and his whole family, his whole household is in just a disarray. And so Anna comes to visit, talks to the wife, convinces her to give him another chance, and all is well. Then you have these characters, Kitty and Levin. Levin has been in love with Kitty for like ever, and Kitty likes Levin, and they're all like, they're gonna end up together. And Levin has finally gotten to where he's ready to propose, though he didn't really feel like he was good enough for her. And so he finally gets up the courage. He's going to propose, but Kitty has been also interested in a man named Blonsky. And Kitty's parents want her to go, or Kitty's mother wants her to go with Blonsky because Blonsky is in a better position socially and monetarily. So when Levin finally, you know, bites the bullet and tries to propose, Kitty shuts him down because she's interested in Blonsky. But turns out Blonsky is just like, yeah, that was fun and all, but no. He discovered Anna, and he's all about Anna. And so now Kitty hates Anna. Kitty's depressed because now she's got nobody. And but you fast forward into the future, and all this time has passed. Levin has found out that, you know, Kitty is single and all of this, and so he tries another time with Kitty. And this time he's successful. They get married, all is well, everyone's happy, and then he is bored out of his mind. And he's like, oh my god, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't do anything. She just wants to sit here and talk with me all day, and you know, it's because of her lack of education and all this. But then later his brother gets sick, and Kitty steps up, and she's doing all of this, and she knows how to care for all of these things and how to handle different things, and she's really stepping up, and he is angry because of all of the things that she's doing, and she is doing a better job than he is, and he doesn't like that. So he wasn't happy when she wasn't doing anything, and he's not happy when she is doing something. And then after that he's just, you know, just bored and angry and questioning everything. And his brother's like, hey, sleep with the maidservant. As long as it doesn't interrupt your household, it's okay. I don't think Levin actually does that, but still. So the theme of this book is adultery. And then go over to Vlonsky and Anna is like obsessed with him and obsessed with her looks and obsessed with holding on tightly to him. And then she's afraid that he is going to fall for this, for any other woman, and that he's lost interest in her, and oh, everybody else loves her and is interested in her, but not really. Everybody's actually out to get her, and in her mind, everybody's out to get her, and everybody's out to make her life miserable. And when she was cheating on her husband, he tried to give her another chance. He was like, oh, Anna was married when Vlonsky came into the picture, and she was cheating on her husband with him, and he tried to give her another chance, and she kept cheating. And then he was like, okay, well, just don't have him in my house, okay? Do your thing, I'll provide for you, but don't have him in my house. And she had him in her house. And so finally her husband's like, okay, I want to get a divorce. And she's like, no. And she hated her husband, and wanted to leave her husband for Vlonsky. So she did, but she had to leave her son behind. And she wouldn't let her husband divorce her, because what if Vlonsky left her, then she would need to go back to her husband. And so her husband kind of put up with this. She left him. She's with Vlonsky. Now she's super paranoid that Vlonsky's going to leave her, that he's interested in other people, that he's cheating on her. She becomes super paranoid. She gets all mixed up in drugs, and she becomes vengeful and spiteful and wants to make Vlonsky pay often. And she does things to hurt him, and she talks about possibly taking Kitty's husband, and because he'll like her, and possibly killing herself to make Vlonsky suffer. And it's just, yeah, I wasn't a fan. So 2 stars. So it's July 30th, and I've completed 2 more books. So last night I ended up completing my reread of Death Prefers Blondes by Caleb Roig. And the first time I read this book, I gave it 5 stars. And this time I'm also giving it 5 stars. It's amazing. I love it. It's about a girl named Margot who is a socialite by day, and by night leads a team of drag queen cat burglars. And it's amazing. This book will give you every freaking feeling. You'll swoon, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll gasp, your heart will race. It's everything. If you want to know a little more on my thoughts on this book, you should definitely go and check out the live show we did with the author, Caleb Roig. It was a lot of fun. I'll link that up here. And then today I finished Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. This is, well, book 1 in the Percy Jackson series. And this is my first time reading these. And I'm doing it as a buddy read. And I've really enjoyed it. I think I give it 4 stars. I think the whole world knows what this story is about, but just in case you don't. It's about a boy named Percy Jackson who discovers that he is half god. So he is the son of Poseidon, and Poseidon and Zeus are currently in a battle because Zeus thinks that Poseidon had his son Percy steal his lightning bolt, and Poseidon thinks that Hades kind of set him up. And so Percy gets sent on a quest to reclaim, you go to the underworld, reclaim Zeus's lightning bolt and return it to Olympus. And it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and I give it 4 stars. So it is Friday, July 31st, which means it's the end of this wrap-up vlog. But I did finish one more book. I finished Flunk by Jen Karenina, and well, I think I give this 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It is about our main character. Her name is Jillian, and she is one of the children of the lady that lived in a shoe. And they live in Enchantasia, where all of the fairy tale princesses live. You know, the royal court. There's Princess Ella, Snow, Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, or Rose. And the villains have been reformed, and now, or most of them anyway, have been reformed, and our teachers in this fairy tale reform school, which is supposed to turn potential villains, you know, thieves and that kind of stuff, kids, into heroes. And we have characters like the wicked stepmother is the headmistress of the school, the evil queen is one of the teachers, the big bad wolf is a teacher, even the sea queen. It's really, really cute. But once Jillian gets sent to this reform school because she gets caught stealing one too many times, it's not exactly like she thought it was going to be. For one, she thought it was going to be just miserable, and it was actually a lot better than she thought. But some of these villains may not be as reformed as they seem. And yeah, I can't really say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything. But it was really cute. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I give it 4 stars. So that is everything that I read for this month. Oh, let me turn these around. Oh. That's 13 books. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 13 books. Ooh. These 12 plus chocolate chip cookie murder. I think that's everything that I read. And I mean, I would have liked to have read more, but some of these, like this one and this one, well, heck, really, this one too, and even this one a little. Those are some big books. This one and this one, those are all big books. I think they're all like over 500 pages. No, this one's only 438. This one's 744, but seriously, it could be like well over 1,000 because the text is tiny. This one's 963. This one was 562, 462, and 430. So yeah, I read some chunky books. I read a few small ones too, but definitely got some chunky books in there. Have you guys read any of them? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!